All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Crypto Coffee and Lo-Fi. The start of a new week. Just remembering, it is a Monday, so like I've said in previous episodes, generally speaking, if we do see a run up on Monday, pre-London Open and pre-New York Open, that run up is more than likely just going to get faded early week. So we have seen that run up. We are breaking out of consolidation here, but I think the most likely scenario that plays out is that we end up running the lows that we printed over the weekend. So you can see we were sitting in a pretty tight range. I know most of you have probably seen that on Bitcoin and ETH. I think we may have one more quick leg up here on the lower time frames, but I think that'll then soon be followed by some temporary downside. So for those that are new here, I am just using the same pattern to find accumulation and distribution, that same pattern again to find support resistance, and then that same pattern again as an entry trigger. So without complicating anything too much, essentially that pattern is just a sweep of a level. Then once that level is swept, I look for the swing that was responsible for taking that level to then break. So in a bearish example, I wait for a high to form. I then wait for a swing low to form and take that high. Then once the swing low that takes the high breaks, I then look for the same pattern to form again. Once I see that, I then look for obvious objectives for price to be heading towards, which can either be equal highs, like this example here, or a previous area of distribution like this here. So a low being swept out, or a high being swept out, a low breaking. If we're accumulating here, the next obvious destination should be the previous area of distribution or an area of liquidity. So without overcomplicating anything too much, that's the basics of the strategy. I have turned it into an indicator as well. So if you are interested in that, feel free to go and check it out. It essentially will print all of the patterns for you and show you exactly where I would be entering and exiting on a manual basis. So going into what I'm expecting for the week ahead. We can see it did pick up a few signals here on the 15-minute as well. All right, here on Bitcoin also. All right, so let's run through the chart. If you've been watching the previous episodes, you'll know that I am leaning bullish. However, I'm still not ready to flip my higher time frame bias, so I am just playing level to level as the levels form. So taking a look at ETH here, like I explained, if price is accumulating in a downtrend, it doesn't necessarily mean we are reversing. It may just mean that we are accumulating into a previous level of distribution, right? So where's the previous level of distribution? We look for a high that's swept, and then we look for the low that swept that high. So as you can see, we are coming up to this level right now. We should get a test during London Open. If we do get the test, and then it's followed by distribution, using that retest in confluence with the idea that runs up that we see pre-London Open on a Monday shouldn't be sustained, then we should see a high probability short scalp. Okay, so where would I be targeting? Let's say we do get this shorting opportunity. We do have a sweep here, followed by a break in structure. Looking at the candle that was responsible for taking that low. First off, I'll be looking for a retest of this level. Once we get that retest, if we accumulate, then I would look to get out of my longs. But if we fail to accumulate, I would then look for, I think this is Sunday's low. Yeah, Sunday's low to be taken. And then we have a sweep here, a break in structure. This is yet to be tested. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get that sweep up above this high, the retest of that level, followed by a sell-off into about 2,800. If we can get that sell-off and then reaccumulate, then I think we can head a little bit higher. So I think we then can run out all of these highs here, but it'll just have to be to decided. So rather than trying to predict too far into the future, like I keep explaining, I'm a levels trader. I would rather sit there and just play the levels, keep my risk tight, keep the entries, stop loss and target tight, rather than trying to hold on to swings while the structure is still unclear. So really quick, what would a higher time frame structure break look like? It would look like a daily or weekly close above this level, but then that still wouldn't be enough for me to enter. I would then need to see some higher time frame accumulation somewhere inside of this range here. Okay, so until we get that, I think the structure is still bearish. However, we are sitting in the most ideal place for a bull run to start back up. So as you can see, I'm a little bit in between. So rather than trying to play the higher time frames, I'm just playing the lower time frames level to level. Similar story here on Bitcoin. I would not be surprised if we run out the lows of the weekend. If we can run out the lows and then accumulate, then we can look for price to take 44.4. Once we get that, if we then distribute, then you can look to short. If we do get that daily or weekly close above, then we can look for accumulation in this zone. Let's go on to M15. Yeah, so let's say, because we do have a bullish setup here. So sweeping out a low, breaking above the high, sweeping out these lows, breaking above the high, right here, retesting this level, and then continuing up. So this is technically a bullish signal. So if we do come down here, print a long, then you can look to long into about 44.4 target. But if we don't get that reaccumulation, then I would say the next step is taking out the lows over the weekend. So FTT continuing to accumulate here on the higher time frames, which again is a good sign for the rest of the market. I know I've explained this in other episodes, but if players are accumulating FTT and BNB, there's a reason that they're doing that. So if things like Bitcoin, ETH, and FTT start to accumulate and start to head up, then the risk then usually does trickle down into the lower, riskier caps. So similar story on FTT. We're running up above these highs right now. So if we see some distribution, something like this, then I wouldn't be surprised if we take out the lows from the weekend. Once we do take out those lows, looking for previous areas of demand or previous areas of accumulation to get long. So I would need to see reaccumulation once we revisit these zones. So the reaccumulation, so here's the level that I'm looking at. If we can get the reaccumulation below the weekend's low and start shooting back up like this, then we can look to target $50. And again, for the higher time frame bias, just looking for a weekly close above $50. Looks, as I was thinking in the last episode, I'm pretty sure I was going to get stopped out. We kept failing to break structure. Unfortunately, I was in a decent sized long position, but I got stopped out of that. There's not much you can really do. I was just playing the stats. It did look like it was going to continue heading up, but unfortunately didn't play out. So next, I do still believe in this going up in the near term. I am just going to wait for move below $3, below these equal lows. If we get that move and then we get some reaccumulation, so something like this, then I can look to enter deep swing longs into $10. Luna. I was trying to short this the other day in one of the previous episodes, and I did get stopped out on that, but now it looks like we have a little bit of a clearer bias. So sweeping out this low, breaking above the high right here, and then as we retest, we form the same pattern again. So this range is a little bit too wide for me to consider getting long, considering my target is only around $68. So I will wait and see. If we get reaccumulation back inside this zone, then I'll look to get long. So like I explained before, I have two kinds of objectives. Objectives that lay outside of the range and they're liquidity targets, so double tops and double bottoms, or objectives that lay inside the range. So that can be a previous area of distribution. So sweeping out a high right here, breaking below the low right here, coming back inside the range and forming the same pattern again. So if price is accumulating, it doesn't always mean that it's accumulating into a bull trend. It may just be accumulating into a previous area of distribution, and that's that level right here. So I'm pretty much going to just cut that there. It's been going for 10 minutes. If you are interested in the way that I'm trading and drawing up the charts, you can click the link in the description below to pick up a copy of the strategy. There's a few hundred people in a Discord, all trading the same pattern, helping each other out. Some people finding success, some people not. That's just how it is. And of course, the indicator is there as well, if you think that'll help you out. No worries, guys. Like and comment. Let me know what you want to see in the next episode. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.